the historic town of Graaff-Reinet, set to be a hive of a creative activity. It comes as it will be hosting the Visionaries of Freedom Festival, and that is happening between the 5th and the 7th of June. So rooted in the centenary of liberation for icon Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe, this festival blends film and storytelling, performance as well as public dialogue, and it's designed to inspire young South Africans. The festival will be happening at the Rupert Theatre, and perhaps to share a little bit more on the gathering is Tsepo Mangaliso Sobukwe, Co-Curator and Legacy Director, as well as Mariza Matshaya, Festival Founder. Very good morning to the both of you, and thank you for joining us on the SABC at this hour.
Thank you for having us. Good morning to everyone.
Tsepo, good morning, and Mariza as well, thank you for your time. Pertinent discussions that need to be had. And Tsepo, let me start with you. If we're actually looking at the festival, how it was initiated, and really how it's set to create opportunities for young people. Tell us a little bit more about the vision behind that.
There's a lot of things that happen in Graaff-Reinet that misses a lot of young people, exactly like you say. So in terms of exactly what we're trying to accomplish with this festival is to ensure that they actually are equipped with a lot of tools that actually can assist in ensuring that they have the skills to shoot films, to tell their stories, because a lot of stories in Graaff-Reinet, especially in small towns throughout South Africa, are not being told. So that's the main focus as well in terms of this festival.
Yep. And it's pertinent given the unemployment rates in the country and also just the plight of the youth at large. June is Youth Month, so it comes at a rather befitting time. I know that the Valley of Desolation is also nearby, and this is something that obviously inspired, young Mangaliso when he was growing up. Mariza, on that note, if I can invite you into the conversation, the vibrant walkabout experience that we can experience at large. Tell us about what is going into the weekend come the 5th to the 7th.
Okay, so what you're doing from the 5th to the 7th is a gathering of young minds and people of Graaff-Reinet. So what you're trying to achieve an economic stimulant festival that allows the town to interact with each other. So the beauty of Graaff-Reinet is that it's a small town, and what it helps us with is that you can walk most of the distances. So what we're doing is we're creating a precinct where people can interact with the festival, but then also we have skills development programs that are between different townships. So we're integrating the town to have an experience and a cultural explosion celebrating Mangaliso Sobukwe.
Yes, and even if we just look at the values that he encompassed, perhaps that we're now leaning on and drawing inspiration from. Tsepo, perhaps you could speak a little bit more to that indelible mark that he's made and continues to make.
Yes, no, I think for a very long time, my grandfather has actually not been allowed to, hold that space within the South African history or consciousness, like a social consciousness. So what we're actually trying to do is to allow those stories that a lot of people that knew him and people that actually were very close to him to bleed out in a sense. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice to hear you speaking, because obviously as we are still trying to find his voice, we're seeing his spirit live on, and it's obviously, you carrying the heritage and the lineage shining through you, and so you also don't walk alone. And perhaps as we continue to find that, Mariza, the importance of, the panel discussions that are also going to be underway, just in relation to what Tsepo has now echoed. Tell us a little bit more about what conversations you're trying to spark. We're looking at the impact that he's had, how he's remembered, how we continue to hear his voice, even in spirit form, and really how this is going to navigate us and carry us into this next juncture of our democratic dispensation.
So one of the panels we are working with is the idea of memory. So we're looking at how do we use archives to spark new conversations. So our themes are linked to social justice. Our themes are linked to memory. So you'll see a lot of filmmakers who are showcasing at the film festival are doing a lot of films that that speak to the consciousness of South Africa and the birth of freedom, and how that birth of freedom has allowed us to start new conversations. So it's so great to see that you guys are also using archives to drive this particular conversation. But what do we as young people, and people who weren't necessarily born yet when Prof. Mangaliso walked the earth, so we're relying a lot on memory from people, and also how do we then hold space for those conversations to take place? So those are some of the discussions we're going to have. Other discussions we're having are, how do we stimulate the economy and the creative sector for young South Africans, especially after COVID? The blessing of COVID has taught us to do things differently. So as we're making our festival speak to a wider audience virtually.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to leave it there. Tsepo and Mariza, thank you for joining us. Looking forward to the plethora of artists that are going to be on the lineup. Thank you for your time and for weighing in. We're also wishing you all the best of luck as you continue to honor his legacy at large. Visionaries of Freedom Festival, launching in Graaff-Reinet this youth month. It's a new cultural chapter rooted in legacy, creativity, and local opportunity, of course, highlighting the life of Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe. Let's leave it there. We'll be right back after this.